Hi, I'm Rick Kaler, and thank you for joining me. Optimism and positive thinking are important assets in a great many areas in life. When it comes to investing, though, a healthy dose of pessimism may be a lot more useful. Now, this is especially true when it comes to estimating long-term returns and projecting the level of income you can expect in retirement. Any investment advisor who tells you to expect average returns of 10, 12% or more is either an optimist or an opportunist. The actual numbers for past investment returns over time simply don't support such high percentages out of a portfolio. Now, one of the consistent optimists when it comes to predicting investment returns is radio talk show host Dave Ramsey. His website contains some great advice when it comes to investing, such as maximizing out your 401k account, getting one if you don't have them, having IRAs, Roths, not buying individual stocks, and investing consistently over time. All of this is great advice. Now, where Ramsey's unreasonable optimism comes into play is his assumption that growth stock mutual funds will give you average returns of 12%. His website says, over the last 30 years, the S&P 500, a standard measurement of stock market performance, has averaged a 12% growth rate. Based on the assumption of 12% returns then, Ramsey says retirees can withdraw 8% a year from their portfolios and still leave the principal intact. This rate depends on two assumptions: that a stock-only portfolio is a good idea, that means having 100% of everything you own in stocks, and that such a portfolio will earn 12%. Both of these assumptions are mistaken for the vast majority of people. Now, one that says this is Thomas DeYoung, a financial planner from Sioux Center, Iowa. He's affiliated with Money Concepts International. And he recently sent me an article that he wrote pointing out that Ramsey's 12% figure is, quote, not even close to accurate, end quote. He does the math to show us why. Now, the following paragraphs I'm going to quote are from his article. And if you would go to my blog at financialawakenings.com, you can get the link to his actual article. He says, quote, from January 1st, 1926 to December 31st, 2009, the stock market returned an annual average rate of 11.92%. Well, that's pretty close, right? No, that's not the compounded or annualized rate of return which you need to use if you're going to forecast how your account grows over time. We're talking about the true rate of return. Let me give you an example. If you have $10,000 in an account, in year one you make 100% return, doubling your money to $20,000. In year two, you lose 50%. Cutting your $20,000 in half back down to 10, which is what you started with. So you have 100% return the first year, 50% loss the second year. Annual average returns, add your returns together and divide by the number of years. So 100% return the first year minus 50% loss the second year, which leaves you a 50% difference. Divide that by 2 years. Your annual average return is 25%. However, at the end of 2 years, you have your original $10,000. Nothing more, nothing less. So you actually made zero. So understand that. I would tell you your average annual return was 25%, and yet you had the same money that you started with. Now, true rates of return are compounded or annualized. The annualized rate of return the market gave from January 1st of 1926 to December 31st, 2009 was 9.84%. Adjusting for inflation, the stock market has returned 6.63% on an annualized compounded basis from 1926 to 2009. And that is before, this is important, that's before investment expenses and taxes. Now, that's the end of the quote of DeYoung's information. So it's pretty important if you're at 6.63 and the average mutual fund is charging 1.3, you'll need to take that off of that, plus any of your costs. So DeYoung is somewhat, like me, a pessimist. The numbers he cites are the reason that I estimate returns for my most aggressive portfolio at 7.5% and my most conservative at 6%, because my average portfolio is not 100% in stocks. I would probably be guessing a long-term return of a 100% stock portfolio today at maybe 8.5%, not far off the 9.8 between 26 and 2009. I think equities will produce a little bit less than that. But my portfolios typically include at least a 20% allocation to bonds, and typically a pretty big allocation to things other than stocks that are equity-like, which we would call alternative investments. So that's why we, for our most popular portfolios, would guess somewhere between 6 and 7.5%. This is also why I agree with the conventional wisdom of limiting retirement withdrawals to 4%. That percentage is based on a body of research by investment professionals. You can read all you want to read on withdrawals during retirement, and they're going to tell you between 3% and 5%, no more than 5% would be the withdrawal rate of any portfolio in order that it's going to last over time. You can search on another video that I did some time ago, taking Dave Ramsey's 8% withdrawal rate, and I believe I did this between 1999 and 2009. If a person had taken and implemented the 8% withdrawal rate, supported by Dave Ramsey, they would have been absolutely broke within about 9 years. Had you limited yourself to, I think I used a 4% withdrawal rate, most all of your principal would be intact, and that was through 2 major crashes. So this is really important stuff. Now, if my projections turn out to be overly pessimistic, well, I guess so much the better. If my clients are surprised by returns different from what I've estimated, I would much prefer those surprises to be happy ones. Thanks for listening.